Hello, everybody. It looks like we're live. So this is the Pipeline Podcast, Episode 6. In Episode 6, we have been covering the LA riots day by day. I've been giving you a nightly breakdown. We've covered days 2 through 5. I thought it was going to be over by Sunday, and it is not. We've been covering the riots day by day since the first day. It started on Friday, and it's Tuesday now, so that is day 5. So today we are going to be going over what happened on day 5 of the LA riots. Late last night after our stream, this is kind of what happens. As I was saying yesterday, like once the sun goes down, the rioters get a little bit crazier. So that's when like the really good stuff happens. And so that's where we find this video. It's Adidas store in downtown LA was looted by rioters. This happened 16 hours ago. So it really was like last night that it happened, but we haven't covered it yet. This is a great place for us to start because this is like kind of what everybody woke up to. Let's check it out. We're not going to watch the whole thing. You already get the point of what's going on here. They're just looting the store. Again, Adidas, it's another shoe store. And we did watch the Jordan store get looted yesterday as well. And so I'm just trying to figure out the connection between looting shoe stores and protesting ICE. Because I don't get it. This is just straight up looting. This is not protest. So anyway, I wanted to go over this. Again, thought it was a great starting off point. This is kind of what happened after we finished our coverage of last night. We have another looting video. This happened around the same time last night. And they're looting a CVS pharmacy. There we go. They got in there. And I'm not sure what you really want to steal from the CVS pharmacy. I go there and buy like Band-Aids. I mean, I guess it's a pharmacy. They might have like drugs, if that's what they're going after. I don't know. All right, let's continue to our next topic. We just have a little video here. It's ICE protesters picking up like rocks and stuff. So like again, it says protesters here. These are not protesters. These are rioters or a violent mob. You know, I'm trying to give context. A lot of people just think it's like government overreach, what's going on here, and that's why LA is rioting. That is not the case. It's quite the opposite. Oh, this video was great. So if it truly was a peaceful protest, anyone would be able to show up to the protest and protest whatever they want. And so let's watch this video because this video was crazy to me. These protesters are not protesters because they're violent. Oh, man. Let's go into the... So look at, he has a Latinos for Trump sign and he's going to roll up to this riot. And the balls on this dude. Keep in mind, it looks peaceful right now, but this is kind of what I'm saying. They keep it peaceful, but when people aren't watching, they start looting stuff. And so his sign here really sets them off and they can't hold themselves back. And we all know what's going to happen. I'll show you what happens. I've seen this, of course. So you'd think, oh yeah, this looks like a peaceful protest. I might want to support this. Keep in mind, he has a Latinos for Trump poster. Fuck Trump. And he gets attacked. And what are we? We're 54 seconds in, and this man has just been attacked. So no, this is not a protest.
What's up? What you want to do? What you want to do? What's up? What you want to do? Dyke ass bitch, get the fuck up out of here. Shit. I got it on me, bitch. I got it on me. Y'all motherfuckers better
assaulted again.
Exactly.
So that's twice that she's assaulted him.
Hey, it don't look like peace.
And he was just assaulted a third time by someone else. Just like the ICE agents. Look at this guy's restraint. He is the only peaceful protester here. And again, that's a fourth time.
It don't look like peace. It don't look like peace.
She's running after him now. He is not standing his ground. He's backing up. He's being peaceful.
It don't look like peace.
And again, all right, so what was that? 5 times he was assaulted by this lady right here. I would like to see some justice because at the end of the day, he's holding up a sign, Latinos for Trump. He's allowed to do that. And to try and suppress his right to do that is so undemocratic and anti-American. It's kind of unacceptable if she gets away with this. She attacked him 4 times One of these other ladies attacked him once. It is not a protest.
It don't look like peace.
So I had to show you guys that. We'll keep the juice going. This is what we're doing tonight. So we have the subreddit r/socialism here. So it's like a subreddit for people that are socialist. Bernie Sanders made a statement today on X and said basically he doesn't condone the riots. The socialism subreddit, Bernie's dead to him now. So it is kind of funny, but Bernie did the right thing here, obviously. I mean, we just saw everything we've looked at the last 4 days as we've been covering this. I mean, yeah, obviously Bernie's right here. So let's just read what he says. I do follow him in the news. Dr. King defeated racist government officials and ended segregation through disciplined, nonviolent resistance. This is true, and Bernie Sanders was actually there. So believe me when I say that claim is true. Defeating Trumpism, oligarchy, and authoritarianism requires that same level of discipline. Exactly. It kind of relates to once the protests turn violent, the whole rhetoric, the whole ideology just goes up in flames, and every violent protest after then just makes what they claim they're protesting for, it makes that whole cause just look worse. So he's right again. And then to end it, violent protests are counterproductive and play right into Trump's playbook. So like Trump doesn't really have a playbook. He just sees that a city in his country is burning to the ground and he's responding to that. There's not some playbook going on. There's not some scheme here going on. But the rest of that statement is right. The violent protests are counterproductive. Well, actually, okay, it's half right. The violent riots are counterproductive. Violent protests isn't a thing. Protests can only be peaceful. If the protests are violent, it's not a protest. Just wanted to show that. This is Bernie's take. Bernie, he's like politically the complete opposite to Trump. I mean, at least most people feel that way. But either way, even Bernie boy says, yeah, you know, these protests are violent. You know, he agrees. Just wanted to go over that. That's interesting to me. This one was crazy. So I don't really know Maxine Waters, but she's some kind of Democrat. And she makes some very outlandish statements today. So obviously we're going to watch it. Listen to what she says. We'll play the video. Let it roll.
And even those who were out of step with what we are advocating, peaceful protest, did not create any violence. Nobody was shot. Nobody was killed.
She made 2 claims there, that the protests were peaceful and that nobody was shot and nobody was killed. And we're not done with our updates yet, ladies and gentlemen. Both of those statements are wrong. Let's play it back.
We are advocating peaceful protest did not create any violence. Nobody was shot. Nobody was killed.
She said the protest didn't create any violence and nobody was shot and nobody was killed. Wrong.
Get it in your head. And so when martial law is called, what are you going to say? I missed the point. Don't miss the point, you all. Don't think that somehow, because they called out the National Guard, there was violence. There was no violence.
She's just turning a blind eye to all the actual violence that we've been following just to push her agenda. So there goes her career. We'll continue to the next source. Local news, body found on downtown LA sidewalk near looted businesses. It was outside the T-Mobile store. So I believe we watched this last night. Again, looting going on. Someone gets shot. Someone dies. And again, I just have to say it again, because everyone's saying federal agents and the police and all that are escalating things. That is not what's going on here. We've been covering it for days. Let's continue. Oh, this one is good. This weekend, Gavin Newsom said he was going to sue Trump over Trump bringing in the National Guard. And even in Newsom's own letter that he sent to the Department of Defense, he sent it to Pete Hegseth. He made a claim that he was going to submit a lawsuit yesterday, which he didn't. And he also said he was going to sue Trump. The lawsuit was like a restraining order on Trump and Pete Hegseth because he couldn't do it explicitly on Trump because the law said that Pete Hegseth was the one that was supposed to notify the governor that the National Guard was going to be deployed. So he did Trump and the governor and tried to get a restraining order on both of them, which is just so ridiculous. And even if you did get a restraining order on both of them, that wouldn't mean the National Guard would just have to leave. Like, it was the stupidest sham lawsuit, and he just really has no idea like what's going. He's so out of the loop that it is crazy. So anyway, he does file the lawsuit. Judge denies it same day. Gets thrown out. So let's just talk about it a little bit. So we need to read this. Here is the lawsuit. Gavin Newsom, in his official capacity as governor of the state of California, versus Donald Trump, in his official capacity as president of the U.S., Pete Hegseth, in his official capacity of secretary of Department of Defense. And we can scroll down. There's just a bunch of stuff, but basically it's a restraining order, a temporary restraining order on them. And he claimed he was going to submit this yesterday, but he didn't. And it got thrown out today, the same day that he submitted it. And it just shows that all the rhetoric that the Democrats are pushing, like that Gavin Newsom is pushing, is just so false. And as soon as it reaches the courts, it's instantly just proven false. This got thrown out so fast. This was a little bit of a two-parter. You had to follow this. I'm not going over the full story here. I'm just going over the part where the lawsuit gets thrown out. But he does submit letters and makes a lot of tweets. And every time he does that, these rioters think it's okay to go out and loot and continue to riot. But in reality, even if the governor is making it seem like he's on the rioters' side, that doesn't mean that it's right, in that these riots are lawful or even peaceful, that these people are doing the right thing. And as we see here, as soon as Gavin Newsom actually, anything he does hits the courts, it's instantly thrown out. So I wish I could talk about that a little better, but I'm not a lawyer. But it was very important that we go over this. The governor of California tried to file a restraining order against Trump and get him to take the National Guard out. It was thrown out. This is a little bit of an update on Gavin Newsom has caused. 20 hours ago, so basically yesterday, this is kind of where the protests were. I was talking about this yesterday, that if these lootings and the violent riots don't stop, they will spread. That's kind of like how these things happen. They start small and spread out over time. Sorry, I gotta close my Steam so you guys don't hear that. And basically, the violence in LA and the riots didn't get stopped fast enough. It's spreading. So we look here and we scroll down at all of these states today. People showed up at like the ICE agencies of these states, and they did have, as far as I can tell, peaceful protests. But like I said, that's just the start. It started here and it was allowed to continue by Gavin Newsom and turned violent. And now we do have bodies in the streets too, to be exact, as far as I'm aware. There could be more. And now it is spreading to other states. And so it's just going to be rinse and repeat unless it gets shut down. And you just have to make sure that they don't turn violent like the riots in California. Right now, as far as I can tell, they are peaceful protests in these other states. I mean, I could barely keep up with just California, so I really haven't looked into these all too much. But they look to be a lot smaller. And they did appear to be protests. So keep that in mind if you think this is isolated to just California because it's super liberal and it was run poorly. That's not the case here. If things don't stop escalating on the side of the rioters, it will spread to other states. And it could become even bigger than it already has become. And that would be terrible. Next up, we have an update on this guy. So this is the guy we saw on our first day of covering the riots, but it was actually day 2. He's throwing rocks at these ICE agents. I went on a rant about the control and the professionalism that these ICE agents show by not arresting him, but justice was served. So the FBI has identified this guy. 40-year-old Elpidio Reyna was identified, and basically they're trying to pick him up. So they know who he is now, and they're out looking for him. I'm sure they're going to find him. It's just a matter of time. The FBI in Trump's administration is pretty good at finding bad guys, so it's just a matter of time. I'm sure this guy's also out looting every night, taking advantage of all the protesters that actually think they're doing something good. What else do we got? We have another example of Bernie, but in this case, it's John Fetterman denouncing the riots. So this is U.S. Senator John Fetterman from Pennsylvania. He is a Democrat, but he's not your typical Democrat. Anyway, let's see what he says. I unapologetically stand for free speech, peaceful demonstrations, and immigration, but this is not that. That is a true statement. He's talking about the LA riots. This is anarchy and true chaos. So he's right again. My party loses the moral high ground when we refuse to condemn setting cars on fire, destroying buildings, and assaulting law enforcement. You can put a comma here and even say, like, killing people now. So yeah, he is right. John Fetterman is someone who doesn't really get stuck inside party lines. So when he sees something like this, even if he is a Democrat, just like Bernie Sanders, he will say something and call it out. And that's what's happening here. These are riots. They're not peaceful protests at all. So you got Maxine Waters saying that no one died and they're not violent. But we've seen all the videos and all the evidence. And so really, these are the kind of people, whether you like their politics or not, that you want representing the country, not people like Maxine Waters. And it's solely because of what they say, because Maxine Waters is a liar and she's willing to lie to the public to push her agenda, which is obviously ridiculous. Let's see what else we got. Oh, just a post here, just a rioter he's got his ankle bracelet on. And so it's like, yeah, you might not like the police, but you show up to a riot and you see this dude and you think, okay, yeah, like this is definitely going to turn violent. Or say you show up thinking it's a peaceful protest and you see this dude and you're like, oh, wait. Maybe this isn't so peaceful. So I wanted to show that. There was something else I wanted to show as well. I have a video that's unconfirmed of one of the shootings, but I don't think it's legitimate. Either way, we can talk about why I don't think it's true, why I think it's a fake video. I just gotta find it. Sorry, I actually don't know why I can't find it. It's in here somewhere. Right here. So this is an alleged video of the shooting outside the donut shop. The thing about it is it's supposed to be dark out. It definitely looks like the donut shop. The video that we watched last night, we saw looters looting this place. Again, I'll leave the sound on. It's soft. You can kind of hear it, but it's gunshots. So I don't know what's going on at this donut shop, but if this video is legit, these rioters are like straight out going gang warfare style and just shooting people. Don't know what's up with that. There's no source on where this video came from or no other information on it. It kind of leads me to believe that it is not a legitimate video, but it could be. Keep that in mind. There was a lot to go over. We had a lot of updates today. Let's just quickly go over it. We got looting last night. We have just an example that these protests aren't peaceful. You cannot show up to these protests with the Donald Trump sign. You will get assaulted, and that is not a free country if someone can't show up in a public space and voice their opinion. So that's a terrible thing. That needs to stop. We have Maxine Waters lying to the public like we're all fucking idiots. I don't even know who she is, but it's obviously for good reason, because this is all I really need to see about her. Newsom did submit his lawsuit today. He claimed he was going to submit it yesterday, and it got thrown out today as well because his lawsuit was bullshit, and he spent so much time posting on X about how he's going to do it and how what Trump did with the National Guard was unlawful. All the rioters read those posts and they say, oh yeah, like we're on the right side of things. But in reality, he's just misleading the public as well, just like Maxine Waters. And there is proof of that because his lawsuit got thrown out today, the same day that he submitted it. Gavin Newsom is full of shit, just like Maxine Waters. Let's see what else we got to cover. And then we just have an update on some Democratic politicians. We got John Fetterman and Bernie Sanders calling out the violence in LA and saying that it does need to stop. MLK would never do this, and it loses the moral high ground for the Democratic Party. That really is the updates that we have today. Obviously, I had to cover all of these things. I will also say that I know I've been saying this for a while. I think it is starting to die down as long as 4 bodies don't get dropped tonight. So we'll kind of have to see how that goes. But Trump was saying it in some interview today, and there's some other people saying it, like things are starting to die down. So that is good. And it most likely is because of the National Guard. So we'll just have to keep an eye out. Again, I will be covering the LA riots every single day until they are over with at least some kind of updates. Depends on the day, if there's a lot of updates or a little updates. I will also look into if there's riots in any other states. Currently, I do believe they're all just peaceful protests. So these LA rioters can learn a thing or two from the protests that are happening in other states. I could be wrong on that, though. I really haven't looked into it too much. Again, we're live on Twitch when we do these. The videos are posted to YouTube. I will see everybody tomorrow with an update. Have a great night. Stay safe.